Notes and tricks. Learn faster. Score higher.
Namaskar, Namaste, and a massive welcome to all of you. I am absolutely thrilled to be your guide today as we tackle Chapter 1, The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. Whether you're aiming to absolutely top your class, crush your board exams, or honestly just want to truly understand how modern Europe was actually born, you are in the exact right place. We are going to break down all of this complex history into super clear concepts so that by the time we wrap up this Explainer Masterclass, you'll know this material backward and forward.
Here is a quick look at our game plan today. First, visualizing the nation. Second, the French Revolution and Napoleon. Third, society in transition. Fourth, a chapter quiz for some solid exam practice. And finally, number 5, your homework and final thoughts.
Section 1, Visualizing the Nation. Okay, let's dive into this and really put on our historian hats.
History isn't just about memorizing dusty old dates, right? It's about visions, it's about wild dreams, and the art that captured them. Take a look at this incredible print. It was prepared way back in 1848 by a French artist named Frédéric Soriot. Just look at the insane detail here. We see the peoples of Europe and America marching together in this endlessly long train. They are actually offering homage to the Statue of Liberty as they pass by. Notice she's holding the Torch of Enlightenment in one hand and the Charter of the Rights of Man in the other. But here's the kicker. Look down, right at the earth in the foreground. You'll see the shattered, broken remains of crowns and royal symbols scattered everywhere. Soriot is literally visualizing a world of democratic nations completely free from oppressive, old-school kings.
Now, there is a key term here you absolutely need to lock in for your exams, and that word is utopian. Soriot's gorgeous idea of distinct nations clearly identified by their flags just walking together in absolute peace and fraternity, well, at the time, that was purely utopian. It was a vision of a society so perfect, so ideal, that there was basically no way it was actually going to exist in the harsh, messy reality of 1848 Europe. And why was it so incredibly unlikely? Well, because of a harsh reality called absolutism. This defines exactly what Soriot was painting against. An absolutist government is a system of rule that has literally zero restraints on its power. Think of the massively powerful monarchies of Europe back then. They were highly centralized, heavily militarized, and deeply, deeply repressive. These were the exact institutions whose crowns lay shattered on the ground in that artwork we just looked at. To make sure this totally sticks in your head, let's use a real-world analogy. Imagine a school principal who has absolutely no rulebook, doesn't answer to any school board, doesn't care about your parents, and can literally expel you for no reason at all, just because they feel like it. That, my friends, is an absolutist ruler. No checks, no balances, just pure 100% unrestrained authority. So if everyday people wanted to replace these absolutist kings with actual nations, we have to ask a really fundamental question. What exactly makes a nation? A French philosopher named Ernest Renan tackled this exact question in a very famous essay. He completely argued against the simple idea that a nation is just a group of people who happen to speak the same language or live on the same piece of land. No, as Renan argued, a nation is built on a shared, heroic past. It's built on great sacrifices and immense devotion. It's about having performed incredible deeds together in the past and desperately wishing to perform more of them in the future. Renan finishes his powerful quote by saying, "A nation's existence is a daily plebiscite." Okay, stop right there, because this is another crucial vocabulary word you've got to know. A plebiscite is a direct vote by which all the people of a region are asked to accept or reject a proposal. Renan essentially meant that a nation only exists because its people actively, consciously choose to be together every single day. Let's use another quick analogy so you never forget this one. Think of a plebiscite like a massive, classroom-wide direct vote where every single student gets an equal say in choosing where to go for the school trip. It's not the teacher just dictating the rules. It's a direct, unified, collective choice by the people actually involved.
Section 2, The French Revolution and Napoleon.
Let's move to and see how this builds across a factual timeline. I highly recommend taking a quick screenshot of this for your exam prep. The whole story really kicks off in 1789 with the French Revolution, which was the absolute first clear expression of nationalism. Then, fast forward to 1797, the brilliant military general Napoleon invades Italy, which sparks the Napoleonic Wars. By 1804, he establishes the highly famous Napoleonic Code. And finally, jumping to the period between 1814 and 1815, we witness the fall of Napoleon and the Vienna Peace Settlement, where the powers that be tried to somehow put a broken Europe back together again. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive, almost unbelievable contradiction of this entire era. On one hand, you have the pure, shining ideals of the French Revolution, transferring sovereign power from the king straight to the citizens and pushing hard for absolute equality and liberty. But on the exact opposite hand, we have the complex reality of the Napoleonic Code. Look, yes, Napoleon brought in some highly efficient administration, he completely removed privileges based on birth, and he established equality before the law. But make no mistake about it, to achieve that slick efficiency, he utterly destroyed democracy and severely limited political freedom, rolling out strict censorship and forced conscription.
Section 3. Society in Transition.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is what was happening to everyday society while those massive armies were marching and shifting borders. Notice the stark contrast here between the old and the new. You had the landed aristocracy. This was a very small but unbelievably powerful group. They owned vast countryside estates, they literally spoke French just to show off their high society status, and they kept all their wealth and power tightly knit through strategic marriages. But totally contrasting them, the Industrial Revolution was giving birth to a brand new middle class. These were the businessmen, the industrialists, the professionals. They were rapidly growing in numbers, and most importantly, it was exactly this educated middle class that started championing the radical ideas of liberal nationalism and demanding the total end of aristocratic privilege.
Section 4. Chapter Quiz. Let's see what you've learned.
All right, students, time to shake off that history dust. Let's test your knowledge with a classic, high-probability question that you are extremely likely to see on your board exams. Ready? What changes did Napoleon introduce to make the administrative system more efficient in the territories ruled by him? Think back to that Civil Code of 1804 we just talked about.
Okay, if you get this question on test day, here is exactly how you want to structure your answer to guarantee full marks, step by step. Step 1. Clearly state that the Napoleonic Code did away with all privileges based on birth. Step 2. Mention that he established equality before the law. Step 3. Note that he officially secured the right to property for citizens. And Step 4. Explain that in the regions under his control, he dramatically simplified administration by completely abolishing the old feudal system and freeing the peasants from serfdom and manorial dues. Just write those 4 points out clearly and boom, you've absolutely aced the question.
Section 5. Homework and final thoughts.
Incredible job today, everyone! You've successfully navigated through utopian dreams, ruthless absolutist rulers, and the incredibly complicated legacy of Napoleon. To wrap things up, here is your homework taken directly from the primary sources we studied today. Summarize the attributes of a nation as Ernst Renan understands them, why, in his view, are nations important. So the crucial point is this. Renan fundamentally believed that nations are a guarantee of liberty, a liberty that would be completely lost if the world had only one master. As you write out your answer, I want you to ask yourself a bigger question. In our modern world today, right now, do we still rely on the existence of nations to protect our individual freedoms? Really think on that. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep studying hard, and I will catch you in the next one.
Learn faster, score higher.